Thanks for staying with us. The UK government says it has signed 11 trade agreements with African countries just over a week before it officially leaves the European Union. Britain is expected to unveil a new strategy for development in Africa, which will focus more on infrastructure and trade. At least a dozen African leaders are in London for the summit, aimed at boosting the UK's private sector investment on the continent. UK businesses have already signed deals worth more than £6 billion, with more expected during the summit.
More than half the world's 15 fastest growing economies are in Africa. Two-thirds of African economies are expanding faster than the global average. Africa is the future, and the UK has a huge and active role to play in that future. We want to build a new future as a global free trading nation. That's what we're doing now. That's what we'll be embarking on the 31st of January of this month. But I want to intensify and expand that trade in ways, to put it simply, not another penny of UK taxpayers' money will be directly invested in digging up coal or burning it for electricity. And instead, we're going to focus on supporting the transition to lower and zero carbon alternatives.
Well, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is participating in the UK-Africa Investment Summit. The president today joined other leaders from Africa and international business chief executives and heads of international organizations. For the governors of Lagos and Ogun State, who are also attending the UK-Africa Economic Summit, the event provides an opportunity to seek partnerships for increased investments in the economies of their state. While Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, the field for investment partnership is wide open across the world. His Ogun State counterpart, Dapo Abiodun, believes the event would provide a boost for their industrialization drive.
Listening to the welcome speech by the Prime Minister, it's sort of like just confirmed my own expectation that in truth, they've realized that whilst all fingers are not equal, some are actually just taller than the others. And he had actually also said that there's really no exclusivity anywhere, right? So the fact that we're colonized by Britain about 60 years ago does not give any right or any additional benefit to investment. Investment is truly really open to everybody, right, in all parts of the world. So it's truly a function of who he's a partner, who stands to you and see you as a fellow partner, not behind, not in front of you, but standing right beside you, right? And he sees you, the challenges you have, and they're asking ways in which we can work together.
The idea is to make for a cross-fertilization of ideas and to match governments with potential investors. And for us, that resonates very well, in Ogun State particularly. Being a subnational whose vision is basically to promote public-private sector participation. And if you know, Ogun State is the next state to Lagos, Lagos being the 5th or 6th largest economy on the continent. But more importantly, Ogun State is home to the largest number of industries in Nigeria. So for us, being here is extremely important.
Joining us to discuss more on this is Johnson Chukwu, CEO of Cowrie Asset Management. Thank you for speaking to us. The UK is obviously trying to woo Africa post-Brexit, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. The UK clearly has to look for other alternative trading partners, given that by the end of this month of January, the UK will be leaving the European Union. And though they still have 11 months to exit the European Common Customs Union. But the reality is that the UK is scouting for new trading partners and is considering the potentials in Africa and obviously looking at opportunities that they could develop further its business relationship with African countries. And that's why it's actually initiated this first UK African Summit.
Well, Well, Mr. Chukwu, I'm sure you have been following the summit, the UK-Africa summit. What benefits do you see this meeting creating for Africa?
You know, the reality is that for African countries, this will give them a new opportunity to enter into more beneficial trade relationship with the UK. Previously, all the trade agreements they have with the UK were with the European Union. And because the European Union had a stronger bargaining power, the African countries more recognize the fact that today the UK is in a weaker position than it was as a member of the European Union, and therefore no longer command the same bargaining chips as it had as a member of the European Union. So while it's looking for new trading partners, Africa should be able to enter into more rewarding or more beneficial trade agreement with the UK. We should use that opportunity to look for investment, direct investment coming from the UK, and also opening up the UK market for African export.
And just briefly, Mr. Chukwu, in the light of Brexit, what does the future hold for UK and Africa relations, especially, Brexit's effect on other aspects of the African economy?
Well, if you look at the status of the UK as a trading partner of Africa, you see over time it has declined. And countries like China, India, United States, Germany have actually taken more prominent position in their trading agreement relationship with Africa. But today, with Brexit, the UK will now have a more compelling need to focus away from the European Union and look for the continent with the greatest potential. As you may know, Africa has about 1.2 billion people, of which about 420 million are looking for jobs, are competent and qualified to work. This provides a huge labor for the world. I think it presents the UK opportunity to come and set up manufacturing outfits in Africa and leverage on this huge labor market we have in Africa. Again, Africa has a 1.2 billion market size, and that, for me, is an opportunity for the UK that I want to exploit. On the African side, Africa is looking for export markets for their products. Africa is looking for technology. Africa is looking for infrastructure support. Africa is looking for funding. Some of these, the UK, if they have to win the hearts and the souls of Africa as these trading partners, must also be ready to invest. China occupies a prominent position, not because Africans love China. I mean, Africa has more historical relationship with the UK, but because China has actually been supporting Africa in this particular development. Africa is looking for such support from the UK if UK has to resume its prominent position with African countries.
Right then, Mr. Johnson Chukwu, CEO of Cowry Assets Management, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on Network Africa.
My pleasure.
Now, the Cedar Men by Côte d'Ivoire artist Coco B stands tall as a powerful symbol of the quality of touring exhibition Prêtez mon rêve, which means lend me your dream in French. It's the first Pan-African exhibition to tour the continent, and it's currently in Dakar's Museum of Black Civilization. Perfect. Well, that's Network Africa today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Shoboale.